Here is an example of how to use a motion marker to trigger another animation. I will open up this page which has a 2D ticker on it. Opening up the animation marker for the text, I can see it is set to loop on air 2 times, then stop. I can also see that there is a gap of 960 pixels between the data running each time. We do not know how many words there will be in the ticker, but when it's finished its 2 loops, I need it to trigger the fade off of the bar behind. I have my animation marker in the front of my first field. This field holds the text information, and at the end of the example text I have added another field. I have not put a carriage return at the end of my example text, as I need the second field to float left or right depending on the amount of text that's in field 1. I select field 2, then click on the right arrow of my keyboard, and then click on a couple of spaces. This makes it easier to see what I'm doing. After these 2 spaces, I'm going to add a motion marker. Selecting the drop-down window where we find the animation marker and the field marker buttons. Moving down, we find the motion marker button. It has a keyboard shortcut of Ctrl-Alt-M. I click on this button and it opens up the motion marker window. The most common uses of the motion marker is to add pauses in an animation or to fire off a trigger letter to activate another animation. The letter I need to send to trigger the off animation of the bar is the letter Q. I'm going to use the target screen position to determine the position on the screen where, when the motion marker crosses this point, the trigger of the letter Q happens. The continuous ticker animation I'm using here is going across the screen from left to right. As it loops across the screen 2 times, I'm going to set my motion marker to trigger the letter Q only on the last loop. I click OK to save these settings. Zooming the screen back to full screen with the trigger motion marker, the K, selected, I can see a green line on the left edge of the screen. If I open up the motion marker again, I can see the position of this green line on the screen is 12 pixels from the edge. In the edit window, I can select this line and drag it to any part of the screen. If I go back to the motion marker, I can also modify the Y position of a horizontal line. Ideally, the motion marker passes in the area above the horizontal line and to the right of the vertical line. When the motion marker crosses either the vertical line, if the animation is moving across the screen from side to side, or up and down over the horizontal line, it will trigger the letter Q. As my animation is a ticker, I'm positioning my horizontal line at the bottom of the window and my vertical line at the left-hand side of the window. When my motion marker moves across the vertical line, it will trigger the letter Q on the last loop of the ticker. I will open up the animation on the bar so you can see how I've set the off animation to wait for the letter Q. I click OK to save these settings. Closing the edit window, I save the page to save all these settings. I will now take the page so that you can see the motion marker in action. This is Pixel Prep so I can see the playout in the user interface. Here is the first loop of the ticker text. And here is the second loop. The motion marker is at the end of the text information, so you can imagine it moving behind the text. When the motion marker hits the point of the screen where the vertical trigger line is, it fires the letter Q, which animates